Okay.
Yeah. And now remember, you, Patricio, reminded me of starting the recording.
Okay, of course.
Yeah. So this is the session for 125, section 2 on September the 9th. Okay, let's get started. Anytime you want.
Okay, so the first one is accessible, and I count 4 syllables, and I think that the stress is in the second, accessible.
All right, good job. Good job. Excellent. Go, Sebastian, whenever you want.
Accomplish, it has 3 syllables, and the stress word is the second syllable. Accomplish.
Perfect. Very good. Whenever you want, Patricio.
I forgot that it's just the two of us. So the
Yeah.
third one is accuracy. I count 4, and I think the stress is in accuracy, the second one.
Okay. And Sebastian, do you agree, disagree?
Oh, teacher, I don't know. I have in the first, but this is so complicated even in Spanish for me. But I'm not sure. I think you're muted, teacher. There.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you so much. So switch to Spanish if you have sometimes a moment in which you want to explain something, but you feel that you have to do it in Spanish. Go on.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So this is one of the most. I'm not going to do a ranking now. Like this is top 10 of the most difficult words to pronounce. But I've heard this word to be mispronounced several times. That's all I can say. Um, the stressed syllable should be the first one. Okay, the first one.
Mm.
So so if it's the first one, you have to say accuracy. Accuracy. Okay. And the first one, the stressed syllable is a trap. So you go accuracy. And the second and the third one are schwas, quite lax vowel sounds. Okay, accuracy. I would say that accuracy is one of the words that is difficult to pronounce, and also pedagogy. Pedagogy, accuracy. I don't know why they're so difficult for all of us Spanish speakers. Um, let's take a look at number 4. Sebastian, I think that you're in charge of number 4.
Yeah. Activity. It has 4 syllables, and in the stress maybe is in the second, in the letter E.
I do agree with you. Activity, perfect. All right, Patricio, whenever you want.
Um, the fifth is actual. I count 2 syllables, and I think the stress is in the first one.
Excellent. Actual, very good. Sebastian, number 6.
Uh, Actually, it has 3 syllables, and the same as actual is in the first.
Okay, perfect. Actually, that's right. Actually. All right.
Number. Oh, sorry.
Go on. I'm going to start. I'm going to mute my microphone. So you go on. All right. You're in charge of this.
Okay. So number 7 is advantageous, I think, and I count 4 syllables, and the stress is in the third one. Advantageous.
All right.
Number 8, ambitious. it has 3 syllables, I count, and in the word stress is the second one, letter E.
Okay, number 9 is analogy. The stress is in the second one, analogy, and I count 4 syllables.
Number 10 is apologize, and in the stress is in the first, and it has 4 syllables.
Sorry, where was the stress?
For me, is in the first and the letter A.
I think that is in the second, but I am not sure because apologize. Teacher.
No, I'm just waiting for your discussion because I consider this to be interesting. Yeah, go and agree on one answer.
But I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Apologize. Apologize.
Because I think that if you stress in the first one, it will be like apologize. And I think that is apologize. Well, forget about that. Who's next? Me or are you?
Oh,
Oh,
you.
the conversation was very interesting. But you're right, Patricio. If we first count the syllables, Sebastian, how many syllables were you able to count or identify?
4.
You're mute.
Sorry, thank you. Apologize. Being the last one, a diphthong, right? And and the first one, probably a schwa.
Yes.
Okay. One of the secrets is to pronunciation is to remember that the schwa is never stressed. It's never stressed. Is the most unstressed vowel sound ever in English history. So the first one could not be stressed because it contains the schwa, a very like sound like uh, a pa, a pa. So or a paw, depending if it's more close, if it's closer to RP pronunciation, a paw, right? If it's a more like General American, a pa. But anyway, the first sound, vowel sound is a schwa. So you never stress a schwa. So I have to agree with on this one with Patricia. The second one is the stressed syllable because it's the second vowel sound. Okay. I don't know if that's okay.
Thanks
Can
for
we take a
the
look?
explanation.
All right, good. Let's take a look at the second column. This time, who's starting? Because I think the last one was Sebastian.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to say that I would like to be a schwa because it's never stress. It will be funny. So
Yeah. Yeah. Feel like a schwa. Be a schwa.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So,
Especially in these times. Okay, all right. Yeah, I agree with you. I feel what you're saying. Good. All right, all right. Second column, guys. Javiera, any moment, jump into the conversation. Javiera is with that, Javiera Cabeza, and Javiera is the second teacher in this class, or the first teacher, depending on the session. Sometimes it's going to be leading, and I'm going to be supporting. Sometimes I'm going to be leading, she's going to be supporting. Sometimes Patricia is going to be leading, or Sebastian, depending on the methodology we're using. So, Javiera, any moment, jump into the conversation.
Okay.
okay.
Alrighty, let's take over the second column. Second column is yours, gentlemen.
Okay, so the 11th word will be competitive, and I think that it has 4 syllables, and the stress is in the second one, competitive.
27, conclusion. It has 3 syllables for me, and the straight word is in the second syllable.
28, courageous. I am not very sure, but I think that it has 3 syllables, and the stress is in the second one, courageous.
Number 29, courteous. I think it has 2 syllables, and the stress is in the first syllable.
Mm-hmm. Number 30, sorry, is criticize. It has 3 syllables, and I think that the stress is in the first one, criticize.
Number 31, currency. It has 3 syllables, and the stress is in the first.
Yeah. So democracy has 4 syllables, and the stress is in democracy, which is the second one.
Discussion. It has 3 syllables, and in the stress is in the second syllable.
Mm-hmm. So efficiency has 4 syllables, and the stress is in efficiency, the second one.
Emergency. It has 4 syllables, and the stress is in the second one.
Very well done, guys. Very, very well done, right? Anything that you'd like to discuss about the second column?
No.
No?
All right. I think there was like sort of a hesitation in 28 in courageous. Courageous has, yes, 3
Yeah.
syllables, as you mentioned, yes.
Okay.
And yeah. And the second one being the stressed syllable. So very well done with the second column. Now, were you able to finish column 3 and 4?
Yes.
So, sorry.
So historical.
Mhm.
Historical, I think that has 4 syllables, and the stress is in the second one.
Number 52, homogeneous. I think it has 4 syllables, and the stress is in the second. Sorry,
Which
teacher,
one?
but
Sorry.
the 52, I did to the 41.
No entendí.
No, que yo la hice, la tarea hasta la 41.
Ah,
Pensé que no sé si me equivoqué, pero escuché que se hacía hasta la 41. Así que la hice la homogéneos, así al tiro, por pensamiento ahora.
but
All
I
right.
think,
But this you go on.
yeah, I don't know if you feel comfortable with doing in the moment.
No, I can do that. Mistake
Okay.
por error se aprende.
So I
That's the spirit.
you said that homogeneous has the stress in which syllable?
And the second,
I think that is in the third. I mean homogeneous.
All right. So let's take first Sebastian's answer. So Sebastian, you say homogeneous, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that the stress is placed on the
And the second syllable.
second syllable. Okay, so you're saying homogeneous, but you're saying that the stress goes on the second syllable, but you are stressing the third syllable. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If the stress goes in the second syllable, you should be homogeneous, homogeneous in the second syllable, right? Homogeneous, yeah. And okay, and Patricio's answer was
The third one.
the third one, homogeneous, right? Um, well, as far as I know, this word has a stress or on the second syllable. Let me double check. Maybe I may be wrong, but last time I checked, uh, homogeneous. Yeah, homogeneous. The second syllable is the one stressed. The one that, the syllable that starts with as in mother. Homogeneous. That would be the stressed syllable. The second one, right? Homogeneous. Very tough word to say. Anyway,
Thank you.
let's move on.
Okay, so horrible. I count 3 syllables, and I think the stress is in the first one. Horrible.
Impression, it has 3 syllables, and I think the stress impression is in the middle. Impression.
Yeah. Um, likely has 2 syllables, and the stress is in the first one. Likely.
Uh, likelihood, likelihood is has 4 syllables, and the stress as likely is in the first.
I think that it has 3 syllables. What do you think it
Likelihood,
has? Yeah.
likelihood.
You said 4 or 3? Maybe why 4?
Likelihood.
You said 3. Likely good.
Uh, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
I think I'm not sure, but I think.
Like,
You're right. You're right.
yeah, it's right.
Okay, so majority has 4 syllables, and the stress is in the second one. Majority.
Material, it has 3 syllables, and the stress one is material. I think the second one.
Yeah. I think that it has 3 too, but I wrote 4, and I don't know why. I mean, I separate re from all, but I think that I am wrong. Material. I don't know if the last syllable is made up of 2, teacher.
The last syllable is made up of diphthong. So the first, yeah. So ia is the last diphthong. Yeah. So
Okay.
3 syllables. Yeah.
So maximize, maximize has 3 syllables, and the stress is in the first one.
Meaning it has two syllables, meaning, and the stress of is difficult here. Meaning is, I think is the first.
Yeah, I think it's the first two. As in the next word that is precious, I think that it has, I know, sorry, potential as three syllables, and the stress is in the second one. Potential.
The next one is precious. It has precious. I think it has two because in the last one we can count as a three form, if I'm not mistaken. And the stress is precious. Precious thing is the in the first syllable. Stress.
Yeah. So pregnancy has three syllables, and the stress is in the first one.
Uh, Primitive. It is right, teacher. The pronunciation primitive. It has
Yes.
three syllables, and the stress is on the primitive. Primitive in the it's difficult. Primitive in the first, I think, syllable.
Yeah, I think that too. Um, Punish has two syllables, and the stress is in the first one.
Quality. It has three syllables, and the stress is in quality. Quality in the first, I think.
Yeah, I think that too.
Quality.
Radical is made up of three syllables, and the stress is in the first one. Radical.
Uh, and the word realize, I think it has two syllables because the last one is pronounced like is in realize, realize, realize. I think it's the in the first two.
Yeah. So recognize has three syllables, and the stress is in the first one.
And the last one, regard. I think that is the pronunciation. Regard. Regard. It has two syllables, and the stress syllable is regard. Regard. I think it's us in on the first.
Patricio, what do you think?
Um, According of what you said, regard, I think that will be in the second one, the stress. How you say the word, and you are stressing the second syllable. And I think that too. I think that is in the second one.
Sebastian?
Yeah.
All right, all right. I really like this possibility in which it's actually a student are the students are the ones who are having the discussions and they're trying to convince each other with the arguments, and finally they reach you reach an agreement. I really like that, and I really like the possibility of staying out of the conversations and just enter to the conversation in very specific moments. Yeah, I do agree in connection to the last word, regard. It's going to be the second syllable, the one stressed. Okay, regard. And also number 77, or the second one in this column, 77. The last syllable contains a schwa. So if you see the spelling, the spelling is Precious. So in terms of the spelling, you have three letters representing vowel sounds, I, O, U. Actually, you take all these and you pronounce a schwa, precious, precious. So never u, never o, no. It's all a schwa, precious. So that's interesting about that specific combination, because this spelling or combination of letters, it can be found in many words. I'm uh, just comes to my mind now, vicious, for example, vicious, like a dog who's very violent. You know, walking on the street, you see a dog that approaches you, starts barking and wants to bite your leg. That's a very vicious dog. Vicious. Precautious, also precautious. So this suffix is present in many different English words. And think about this as a schwa. I'm talking about the combination of letters that represent a vowel sound, the I, the O, and the U together. At the end of a word, we have to look at this as a suffix, and the pronunciation would be a schwa. Precious, precious. Okay, remember that one, because you are going to see this suffix in many different words. Can you think of any other word that might contain this suffix?
Right now, no.
No. What if someone cooks for you something very tasty, really good? How do you call it? This is very
Oh, delicious.
Delicious.
delicious. Exactly, delicious. The last combination of letters is just a schwa. Delicious. All right. So it's a suffix that we might find in several words. So it's important to remember, because this is another mistake that we do. I say we, the Spanish speakers and speakers of languages in which every single letter is pronounced. We tend to pronounce every single letter. So we tend to say E, O, U, or at least O, U. So that's something that that is interfering with the way we pronounce words. We tend to pronounce every single letter just like we do in our own native language, right? So that's quite important to remember. I think you did wonderful with this exercise. I think I would like to congratulate Sebastian, because he has a very positive attitude. He doesn't care about making mistakes. He learns from the mistakes, and that's the spirit. Okay, from error, trial and error. You try and you improve. If you make a mistake, it's totally fine. And I would like to congratulate Patricio, because he had a very protagonist role here, trying to persuade or asking him this conversation with Sebastian and teaching each other. That's the excellent interaction that I could see here. And I could see that at the beginning you were kind of requesting for leadership. You were asking the teacher to take the role, but it's you guys who can teach each other. The teacher might be a guide some point at some time, giving information or confirming some of your answers, but it's you who can actually conduct a class, and it's you who can actually teach each other. So don't be afraid of this moment in which you are being the ones engaging the class, engaged in the class and taking a more leading role. Okay, that's important to remember. Don't be scared about this. There are multiple possibilities responsibilities when it's not the teacher who's leading the class, but students. Patricio, Sebastián, Javiera, have you ever seen this presentation?
No.
No? Okay, all right. There are some things that you already know, and there are things that might be new. So it would be interesting to revise this in this session. And feel free to interrupt me in any moment, and feel free to ask whatever question comes to your mind. Sebastian, we have a couple of definitions here for what a syllable is. Can you read the first one? And Patricio, can you read the second definition, please? Is that okay with you?
Yes.
All right. Whenever you want.
A unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants, forming the word part of a word. Sorry, I guess there. Forming the whole or a part of a word. For example, there are 2 syllables in a water and 3 in inferno.
A syllable is a single unbroken sound of a spoken or written word. Syllables usually contain a vowel and accompanying consonants. Sometimes syllables are referred to as the beats of spoken language.
Perfect. So here we have two definitions, right? The first definition implies that a syllable is a unit of pronunciation, and a unit of pronunciation with only one vowel sound. So that's important to remember. One vowel sound should always be present in a syllable. If there's no vowel sound, we do not have a syllable, okay? And the number of vowel sounds implies the number of syllables. And that's the definition read by Sebastián. And Patricio read that a syllable is a single, unbroken sound. Single, a unit, one, single, unbroken. You cannot divide it, right? You cannot divide a syllable and of a spoken word. Now, we cannot divide a syllable because we're moving upwards in terms of the different parts of or what composes a sentence or a thought. Last semester we were talking about isolated sounds, right? Like one vowel sound, one consonant sound. And now we're putting together this combination of sounds, and now we're talking about syllables, right? We're stepping up into the next stage. Then after syllables, we're going to be talking about words, then phrases, and then sentences, right? So we have two definitions. You can marry with any of these, right? You can say to the question, what's a syllable, Patricio? And you can choose this one, or you can choose this one, okay? Let's take a look at the next definition. Who would like to, because I only have Sebastian. Okay, but this is already here. Sebastian, can you take the second one, please? Sorry, the definition in this slide.
Yeah, a syllable is a part of a word that contains a single vowel sound and that is pronounced as a unit. So, for example, book has 1 syllable and reading has 2 syllables.
Perfect. So again, what Sebastian is reading, a syllable is a part of a word. That's very interesting to remember. It's a part, one part of a word. And it contains a single vowel sound. Again, the idea of one unit, single, indivisible, right? And that is pronounced as a unit. That's important. That is pronounced as a unit. So this unity, this singularity of being just one indivisible sound is what we have to remember. And you can, as I said, you can marry with this definition, okay? I mean, you're very young to get married, but you still have to decide how you're going to define this linguistic phenomenon, right? This syllable. Book, 2 letters, 2 vowels, but 1 vowel sound. Reading, 2 vowels, if we talk about spelling, but 1 vowel sound, reading, right? So don't get confused with the spelling, and always remember that in the phonetics and phonology class, we're dealing with sounds. So don't get confused if you see 2 letters. Okay. We already, I think you're already familiar and you're master of this. Identify how many syllables are, so we can do this right on the spot. Who wants to take the first one?
I can.
Patricio, go on, please.
Cat, 1 syllable.
Excellent, good job. Right. Okay, Sebastian?
Horse, it has 1, 2.
Excellent.
Horse.
Horse, that's right. Patricio?
Extraordinary, I think that has 5.
Okay. 5. You said 1 and you said 1. Okay, perfect. The next one.
Classroom, it has 2.
Okay, 2 syllables. And finally,
Exercise, I think that has 3.
3. Okay. 3 syllables. All right. Sorry about this. I should have used a different font. Cat, horse, extraordinary. I think there's a mistake here. Let me correct this right on the spot. We're going to keep the.
Is this how we separate the syllables, right? By dots between them?
Exactly. That is an excellent comment. A syllable division is going to be shown. It's going to be shown by using these dots. Exactly. That's the point. Okay, let's see if I can fix this. Extraordinary was the word. Meanwhile, which one is the dictionary that you usually use? Because at some point you're going to have to revise some words in a dictionary, in an online dictionary. Which is the one that you usually use?
In my computer, I got still the Cambridge one. I don't know what edition, but it works for me. It has 2 pronunciation, the British and the American.
Okay, that's good. And in your case,
I use Cambridge too.
okay. How do you pronounce that word? Is it Cambridge or Cambridge? What do you think?
I think that I have to look for it in the Cambridge dictionary.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's a joke that you can only say in a phonetics class.
I was remembering that when I course this course, I remember in the first like phonetic test, you wrote that word, but as its phonetic transcription, and we had to wrote the correct spelling, and many we got it wrong because we didn't know.
You were not you were not familiar with the word.
Yeah, it was. After that, I never forgot how it's the phonetic transcription of the of the word and
Yeah,
of the
it's
place.
yeah, exactly. The name of the online dictionary and also the place in England. It's difficult to remember. I think it's not a word that we constantly use. So if we don't use the word, we tend to forget, right? So is it came or cam? What do you think?
It's came.
Came. All right. Cambridge. All right.
It is pronounced the same in US and UK. Cambridge.
Excellent. Um, Excellent. That's a very good comment. Very good comment because in different dialects, sometimes there is a change of pronunciation, and sometimes there is an adaptation of, for example, French words. Some speakers decide to use the pronunciation which is similar or the closest to the original pronunciation, and other English speakers decide to adapt the pronunciation to what sounds more English to them. So think about the word garage. Garage, the place where people store or leave their cars. Some people will say garage, garage. So I guess garage is closer to French pronunciation, right? And some people say garage. That sounds to me more English. So it's good to know. Okay, in Britain they say it like this, but in the United States it's like that. So very good comment. I don't think we have any problems with cat and horse. Cat and horse, very, very easily identified. Extraordinary, extraordinary. Uh, vowel sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 vowel sounds. Extraordinary. We're going to see that sometimes the syllable division does not make any sense if we look at it from the perspective of a Spanish speaker. For example, dinary. Probably in Spanish you would get this together with the next vowel sound, with the schwa, maybe. Right? And in the next one, classroom, 2, perfect. But see that classroom is placed together with the second syllable and not with the first one. Not class, as probably we would think. And the last one, exercise. Exercise. I think it follows what we might think as normal. We have 3 vowel sounds, right? And 3 syllables. Is this okay for you so far?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I have a question.
Sure.
In classroom, you said that the S is part of the second syllable, but in the Cambridge dictionary, it shows like the S is part of the first syllable. And then is the dot, and then is room.
Yeah, I have the same double answer in the British tool that I used. I mean, which made a difference between RP and General American. Divided this two syllable word into 2, making the division before the s, and the American version made the division in after this. So yes, I have this. Can I paste here? No. So basically the same word, class, the dot here to indicate the syllable division, and then room. So yeah, we're going to see that sometimes there will be some sort of disagreement, right? Some sort of disagreement whenever we're dealing with different English varieties. I really don't know why of the discrepancy or the because I understand that syllable division should be equal for, but we're going to see that some theory, some explanations are part of theory, right? Can explain why sometimes some consonant sounds are attached to one syllable and why not to the other one. And then we're going to see that sometimes these theories which try to explain, and I emphasize that, try to explain the inconsistencies of English, try to explain why the consonant sound should be in the first, in this case, for example, in the first syllable, and the other theory would support why this consonant sound should be part of the second syllable. And that's going to be some of the theories that we're going to revise later on. Okay, first I wanted to go from more practical perspective and then go into the theory. Let's keep this in mind to revise it later in the light of the theory. Okay, don't forget this word classroom, because we're going to revisit it later on. Okay. I think you already, yeah, I think you already went through this stage in which you were counting syllables. You did that in the with a snapshot, right? Or a screenshot, to say it more correctly. So we're going to skip that. Now, I think this is something that you might be familiar with or not. In general, a syllable is one unit that will always contain a vowel sound. The vowel sound, it's also going to be called peak. So you can call it either. And actually, you can find the word nucleus or peak, the nucleus of a syllable or the peak of a syllable in books or in articles in journals. Okay. The coda is any sound, any consonant sound that comes after the nucleus or peak. Okay, and the onset is any sound that comes before the nucleus or peak. Let's take the word dog, or we could have used horse or cat. But dog is a one syllable word. How can we know that this is a one syllable word? Because there's only one vowel sound, right? So we are sure that because there is only one vowel sound, we have one syllable. This is a one syllable word. So basically the nucleus or peak of this one syllable word, it's right? Dog. The vowel sound, right? What comes after the nucleus or peak is the consonant sound g, right? So that's g, that's the coda. Okay, and what comes before the nucleus or peak is the consonant sound d. So if we have to analyze this one syllable word in terms of the components of a syllable, we have to say that the nucleus or peak of this word is the vowel sound o, that the coda is g, and the onset of this word is d. Okay, now if we put together the nucleus or peak of the syllable with the coda, we get the rhyme, because the rhyme is the combination of the nucleus and the coda. So the rhyme here, in this case, would be og. Now, have you ever played in Spanish or English the word of rhyming or rhyming words? Or what does which word rhymes with the other one? What word rhymes with I don't know, in Spanish? What word rhymes with casa? Do you have an answer for that? What word rhymes with casa?
Masa.
Masa. Perfect. Masa. Taza. Pasa. What word rhymes with dog?
Fog.
Perfect. Fog. Any other? I was thinking of an animal. Are you familiar with this one? Do you know the meaning of that one? Is it an animal or not? What do you think?
I don't know.
You maybe eat this you eat this animal and actually you didn't know you were eating the animal. So anyway, fog rhymes with dog. Hog rhymes with dog as well. Now, how do we know that these words rhyme with the word dog? Is it just out of intuition? Do we have magical powers? How do we know that they rhyme? If we look at if we compare them and we see what they have in common, well, the initial consonant sound here of the onset, the onset is different, and right. So the onset is different. We have here, right, an alveolar stop. We have here a fricative, right, a fricative labiodental, and here is also how do you describe this sound? Do you remember? The I don't want to add more pressure on you, right? But it
Voiceless?
remember exactly a voiceless. There's friction in this area. Hello, hi, hog. So it's voiceless, fricative because there's friction, and glottal, right? So the point is they are different. So the onset of each one of these one-syllable words is different. D, f, and ha. Now let's see the nucleus. O, o, o. The nucleus is exactly the same. And let's see the coda. G, g, g. So these words rhyme because their rhyme is the same. In other words, because the nucleus and the coda is the same. The nucleus and the coda, right? They are the same. That's why these words rhyme. It's not out of the blue. It's not a magic. It's not anything that we have to feel or we need to use our intuition. It's basically if you see that it's the same nucleus or peak and the same coda, they should rhyme. Okay, so those are the concepts that I want you to remember. Now we're having a short break. Okay, it's going to be a 10-minute break, and hopefully you will return, and then we're going to see some exercises that have to do with identifying components of a syllable. The next slide is this one, composition of syllables, And this is the exercise using the same words that before. Okay, so I'll see you after the break, hopefully. And maybe we're going to have more guests in this session. Maybe people who get up after 9:30. Okay, so I'll see you after the break, guys. Enjoy the break.
Okay, bye, teacher.